Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Is Twitter about to change, and will that change make it better? 72 years young, we look at the challenges facing India in the decades ahead. And Madonna is 60, so we say, happy birthday. On top of our newsfeed, Twitter. The boss of the site says he's seriously thinking of ways to remake fundamental parts of the platform. Jack Dorsey gave an interview to the Washington Post as part of a charm campaign to reassure people that Twitter is listening to concerns about fake news and hate speech. Now, some of the things he said he may do are label bot accounts as bot accounts, so people know if the tweet is coming from a real person or from a computer. They may put facts around tweets that are obviously fake. YouTube are considering doing similar things with some of their videos. And in an effort to deal with people's online echo chambers, Twitter could tweak the algorithm so people are forced to see alternative facts to their own. And he followed up the publication of his interview with, what else? A tweet. He said he appreciated the conversation today and it reflects a lot of his thinking. He said he's changed Twitter a lot over time, but one thing they haven't changed is the service that it implicitly incentivizes people to do. That's a level that they need to reconsider. And Jack Dorsey's efforts to make Twitter better may have something to do with this guy. Yes, it's Alex Jones, and we're sorry we keep talking about him, and hopefully this will be one of the last times we do. His radio station has been shut down and fined $15,000. That means that Jones can now not spread his hate-filled conspiracy theories using old media like radio or new media like Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple or Twitter. But his Twitter ban is only temporary. It's got 6 days left to run, and there's now a hashtag called Deactiday. That's calling all Twitter users who don't like Alex Jones to deactivate their accounts. It was started by a designer called Mike Montiero, and it's got some traction. The actor Will Wheaton has retweeted and said he'll take part. The idea is they give Twitter 30 days to remove Alex Jones permanently. After 30 days, if he's not gone, their accounts will deactivate permanently. And these developments add to debates about freedom of speech. Now, most of us would agree that lots of what Alex Jones says is offensive, but does his banning start us down a dangerous path? Now, it was famously once said that I disapprove of what you said, but will defend to the death your right to say it. In an age where opinions are all around us like the air we breathe, is that old maxim now at risk? Thoughts in the comments if you have any. All right, let's take a look at what else has been trending on social media. The Boston Globe is leading nearly 350 newspapers in the US who will publish editorials today challenging President Trump's claims that the press is the enemy of the people. The editorials will try and defend the freedom of the press and push back against the president's continual attacks. The Korean megaman BTS are trending, as they so often are, after the group and Nicki Minaj exchanged Twitter props. This was BTS saying they liked Nicki's new album artwork, and she responded by saying that she loved them. Now, this caused fans of both to jump in and begin sharing songs and likes and lyrics and calling for a BTS-Nicki Minaj collabo. And that would be something. This is the kind of internet we like. And the hashtag Atina Sura Medina Tik is trending. That's show your city in Arabic, apparently. And people are tweeting, what else? Pictures of their city. Maybe I'll add one of my hometown, Nottingham, or not. Now, India, a country of over 1 billion people, is entering its 72nd year. And that's pretty young if you actually think about it. So what challenges do they face in the time ahead? Shushri has an in-depth look at India going forward.
India, a country that would seem very chaotic to an outsider, and yet it manages to function as a fairly successful democracy. It's a country of 1.3 billion people. Unity in diversity is the strength of India, and multiculturalism is its essence. But it faces a fair share of challenges. As India enters its 72nd year of independence, we look at some of the good, the bad, and the ugly that makes India. India has over 100 languages, umpteen cuisines, and is home to all major religions in the world. And yet, it manages to be a functional democracy.
Not only is it a functioning democracy, it's a successful democracy, it's a vibrant democracy. And if you know the kind of melting pot that we are, the hugest contradictions, It's a miracle that we managed to keep it together.
India is also one of the world's fastest growing major economies. The IMF compares it to an elephant starting to run. It accounts for about 15% of global growth.
It has understood the benefits of being in the global mainstream as far as economics is concerned.
Bollywood, food and cricket. The country's culture has been a dominant force globally, and its cultural influence is predicted to grow stronger in the years to come.
India is the only country in the world that has been able to withstand the marketing might of Hollywood.
There is this aspirational factor that helps a common person who is from a developing country being able to relate more to, say, a Bollywood as compared to Hollywood.
India's judiciary is one of the pillars of its democracy, but civil justice and order and security can be pretty poor.
The judicial process, where cases can prolong for 20, 30 years, sometimes 50 years before the judgment comes, when the warring parties may not be alive.
India prides itself in giving its citizens freedom of expression, but many fear that free speech is under threat. Attacks on journalists, censoring unfavorable news, abusive synchronized trolling, all threaten India's free press.
Journalists are losing their jobs, or they are being suppressed within their organizations. Even tiny things like what you tweet is being controlled by bosses.
Instead of reportage, what you have now is armchair vigilantism, which I feel is extremely worrying and not in keeping with the spirit of a free and fair press.
Some analysts say India has failed its citizens when it comes to healthcare and education. In 2017, over 400 children died at a hospital in the state of Uttar Pradesh due to oxygen shortages. India ranks poorly in healthcare access.
The question of health and education continues to be a critical one. We understand that it's also something that really has a direct impact on those also in the middle classes.
India has a bad reputation for caste and religious discrimination. Dalits, who are the lowest in the caste system, are killed for reasons like owning a horse. Muslims have been lynched simply for allegedly possessing beef.
Is the fact that there is consolidation of sorts on religious identity, and that kind of leaves many groups outside of the so-called mainstream.
Caste remains the big blot on our so-called democracy, and until we destroy caste, we have no right to truly call ourselves a democracy.
There's also the rape crisis. In 2016, India recorded 106 rapes a day, and 4 out of every 10 victims were minors.
It's still a poor and developing country, and a lot of this mindset that we talk about, the feudal mindset, the patriarchal mindset, is directly related to that.
I resent the fact that my freedoms are restricted because I'm worried about sexual violence. But on the other hand, I feel immensely proud of the people of my country that in 2012, after the Delhi gang rape, people came out on the streets and there were nationwide protests against sexual violence in India.
There's long been terrible poverty in India, but in recent years, there's been a dramatic increase in income inequality. Just in 2017, the top 1% of the population owned 73% of the extra wealth created.
Questions continue to stay on things like crony capitalism, where a certain groups are able to manage like larger chunks of economic growth and business opportunities.
India is a massive country facing major challenges. But will it meet its true potential?
There will be challenges though, but then it really comes down to the people and their ability to stay together.
So right now, I think we can be very gung-ho on the India growth story.
Now, Israel have finally released thousands and thousands of letters to be delivered to Palestinians who live under occupation. Take a look. the world now for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. It's now being reported that the baker who made a name for himself by refusing to bake a cake for a gay couple has also said he'd not bake a cake for a transgender woman. The refusal of the gay couple got legal and went all the way to the Supreme Court. The baker, who's called Jack Phillips, successfully argued that his religious rights would be infringed if he baked for the same-sex couple. It seems the issue with the transgender woman will now go before the courts too. The German Life Saving Association has issued a warning to parents to put down their phones while their kids are in the pool. 300 people have drowned in Germany this summer, and the lifeguards there say it's because many times parents, grandparents and guardians are not paying attention when their little ones are in the water. And the person who pushed this girl off a bridge in Washington State in the United States could face charges. The 16-year-old who was pushed broke 6 ribs, punctured both lungs. She fell at 60 foot. An 18-year-old girl who pushed her is apparently her friend and is now talking with the police. And E-Games will be a demonstration event at this year's Asian Games. There are 6 games that will be played, including League of Legends, Arena of Valor, Clash Royale, Starcraft 2, Hearthstone and Pro Evo Soccer 2018. Esports will be a medal event at the 2022 Asian Games. And it's happy birthday, Madonna, from Newsfeed. If you're watching, take a bow.
Who's that girl? 36 years in the music industry, she's the most successful recording female artist of all time. She's 60 today, and she's still Madonna. The Material Girl is still pushing boundaries with her music and performances. After 3 decades, she's followed a lucky star. Her challenging lyrics, her disregard for convention and her willingness to be controversial are what have made her the queen of pop music. And she keeps reinventing herself as the years pass while remaining relevant to millions. She wanted to be a dancer when she moved to New York City in 1978. That dream evolved to include acting, writing, and of course, singing. She's been nominated for Grammy Awards 28 times, winning 7 of them. Her albums have sold 335 million copies so far, making her the best-selling female recording artist, according to the Guinness Records list. Besides her music, she's acted in 91 films, 26 of them feature films. Although not all have received good reviews, she still has a Golden Globe for her role in the 1996 movie Evita. And during her writing career, she's produced 30 books, including a coffee table book on sexuality and 19 children's books. One of them, The English Roses, stayed in the New York Times bestseller list for 18 weeks. And all of this has made her rich. Very rich. Forbes says she's worth $590 million. She also founded her own charity organisation, Raising Malawi. She's been married twice, has 6 children so far, 4 of them adopted. These are her youngest, Esther and Stella. And this is her latest tweet. Through everything, Madonna Louise Ciccone will always be in vogue.
And in today's Animals Doing Stuff, we bring you the story of a faithful doggo in China. Now, a woman fainted in the city of Daqing and she's been taken to hospital. Her golden retriever will not leave her side. I like how it keeps popping up on the side of the stretcher, like that, to see if she's okay. And then the dog gets into the ambulance with her and makes sure she gets to hospital safe. Both lady and dog are doing well, apparently. All right, that's all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to us with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.